Hello. So I'm doing today's recap of, really I only did one thing today, and that was go to Amonohashidate, which turns out to be the third most scenic place in all of Japan, and I can see why. I fell in love with this place. When I'm back here, I'm going to go as often as I possibly can whenever the weather's nice. Who knows, I might even come when it's not as nice, just because it's so beautiful. So I got up this morning, and I slept really well. I'm not even sure if I moved at all until I happened to wake up, bright and early, a lot earlier than I wanted to. And then fell back asleep for a little bit, woke up, did some work, and then walked out to Kyoto Station and got the Shinkansen out to Amonohashidate. I guess there's one train that is a direct, I guess, goes directly to Amonohashidate, and that's early in the morning, and I missed that one. I took, and that was a JR train, which I wouldn't have had to pay for because I already paid for the pass. But I got another JR train instead that got me as far as Fukuchiyama, and then I transferred to another line there. Had to pay for that train, but that one took me all the way into Amonohashidate. And for some reason, it's like I sat on one side of the train, and that happened to be the opposite side of all of the most gorgeous scenic views all the way there. So when I switched trains, I was like, I'm going to sit on the other side so that I can hopefully get some good views. And what happened? Of course, the gorgeous views are on the other side. So it's like on the way back, I'm going to switch that so I can get my gorgeous views. But then I got to Amonohashidate and walked to a shrine that was the Chionji, I think that's what it was, shrine. It was right near the train station. And then I walked out from that onto, okay, so Amonohashidate is actually this strip of land that is, there's water on both sides. It connects one part of Kyoto to another part. I guess it's like there's a little cove, and it's just like this little strip of land that goes between the two. Then that strip of land is Amonohashidate. And so I walked that strip of land. They say it's 15 minutes by bike and about 45 minutes by foot. It took me a lot longer because I quickly realized, oh my gosh, there's beach! It's like white sand and blue water, which is the kind of beach I like. I don't like the beaches on the Atlantic pretty much because but you can't see in the water, and there's just stuff in your toes, and you have no idea if there's anything in there with you that could just brush up against you. And I like white sand beaches and blue water, and that's what this had. It also had seaweed, but I didn't go that far in to really deal with that. So I took my shoes off and walked along the water and kept wondering why no one else was, and I eventually found out why. There's a little video on that, but I still, the water temperature was fantastic. I would not submerge myself in it. It wasn't warm enough to get all the way in, but for just like my feet, it was perfect. So I walked along that for a while, and then finally got out and had to go through the process of drying my feet and desanding them and my shoes so that I could enjoy the rest of my walk. And then I went to the other side, and the other side, well, that one side was more like ocean. The other side was more like a lake. I guess it's more, it's contained, so the water was calmer. You can't access the water there except for right where it started, where a guy was fishing. But yeah, I just walked along and took beautiful pictures. At some point, there was a couple, I don't know where they were from, It's a white couple that had turned everybody's heads because they were on the beach. You know, he had his shirt off, she had her bikini on, and they're getting their sunscreen on, and they're laying out. And I'm assuming they don't do that here in Japan, or at least maybe it's not the time of year, or maybe that's not the type of bathing suits that they usually wear. I don't know, but they got a lot of looks. But they needed the sun, so I'm glad they were getting some. Let's see, and so I get to the other side, and I make my way over and take the chairlift up the mountain. That was a lot of fun. I got there just in time because the chairlift stopped at 4 o'clock, and so I was able to take one of the last lifts up, and got to do a lot of fun things up there. I have a separate video for that, so anybody wants to know what I did while I was up there, you can watch that. I got my Dippin' Dots. I love Dippin' Dots. Every time I see them, I want them, and so I got them. I got the rainbow ones, which are my favorite. And then I walked up to, I'm not going to say this right because I couldn't remember. I didn't know that's where I was trying to get to anyway. Kasamatsu Park or something like that. And did a little bit, just a teensy bit of shopping there. And I guess the guy appreciated me buying stuff so much that he gave me something. He gave me a gift, something that I had been picked up and looked at and put down. And he gave it to me as a gift. So that was awesome. So I just got lots of awesome, amazing, beautiful shots of the mountains and the water. It was incredible. And so I finally made my way back down, and I was like, I would usually be like the last person in some of these shops. I'd leave, and then like I'd look back a few minutes later and they were closing up. You know, those are the ones that were still open. So I left when I was going back. I wasn't going to walk back across Amonohashidate. I could have, but my feet wouldn't have been so happy. So I decided to take the boat back. There's a, you know, I guess a tour boat or something. So I took that back, and then I hopped another train back here. And I was hoping to get my awesome shots, but the sun had pretty much set, and it was just getting darker and darker, and when it was still, I could still see enough to get pictures, but because the lights were on in the train, I was getting more of the reflection of the inside of the train on the glass than a lot of the beautiful things outside the train. So I gave up on that, and you know, I have it in my mind and in my memory, so if you want to see it, you better get your butt over here and check it out. It's awesome, and it's so worth it. So then I just came back, and I went ahead and went to the JR office at Kyoto Station and got my ticket back to Tokyo on the 26th. And yeah, I ate a lot. I ate a lot of and I got some really interesting things. I got to sample some like little tiny baby squid. I don't know how they were cooked. It was really interesting, in a good way, really interesting. And then some other thing that I knew about going to Amonohashidate from a YouTube video, and explaining all the things that you could do there. Except for one, turns out there's an amusement park there that's right behind the Amonohashidate station. I didn't know about it. I did get a picture of it up on the top of the hill with it's got a Ferris wheel and some other things, but another time. But one of the things that she mentioned, which I didn't see my first time going up, but as I was leaving, I happened to see, it's this fish, I guess. It's wrapped around a bamboo stick, and then it's like rotisseried over fire. So I got that. I don't know what it's called. I got that. And yeah, I don't ever need to get that again. I mean, it didn't taste bad, but it just didn't really taste. It was like, oh, that's fishy a little bit, and nothing else. So I think I need a little more flavor with my stuff. I was like, this could be great if you had like some sort of sauce, but it doesn't come with any kind of sauce to help it out. So yeah, after eating that, course, my little sweet that I had bought earlier in the day. I was good. So I am back in my place, and oh yeah, it's very interesting. So I mentioned I didn't really get to see or really meet the person who was staying in the room across from me. But this morning I did have to meet him this morning because I couldn't get my door open. I kept pulling on it because it's one of those sliding doors and it would not open. So I had to kind of shout across to him. Thankfully, his name's Olivier. Thankfully he speaks English and was awake and was here. And he can come and get the door open. It apparently had gotten off the track, so he kind of had to force it back into the track, and then it was able to slide open. So, yeah, I gotta be careful with that door. But yeah, I might not close it tonight, but that was interesting. So I got to meet him briefly. Yeah, loving it, loving it, loving it. Trying to get as much done as possible before I go. Okay. And I tried to upload yesterday's videos and photos, and YouTube and Google Photos weren't cooperating, so I'll get them up with this and today's stuff. So, yeah, okay, bye.